Producing over 500 hours per week of talk radio, GCN Live is a world leader in talk radio. Archives for the following program can be found at gcnlive.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Mark Leibovit, and welcome to Wall Street Raw. It's Saturday, February 27th. As you know, we had a repeat of the show last week, being on the road. In fact, we're still on the road. Hopefully, some of you made it to the Traders Expo here in New York at the Marriott Marquis. I was at the show last year. It's an event that brings together a lot of technical analysts, fundamental analysts, traders, companies that provide platforms for trading and investing, and it's always a worthwhile event, particularly being in New York and meeting a lot of interesting people. In fact, one of the fellows that I had known for years but finally met personally, Harry Boxer, will be a guest on the show here in segment 4, and he was making a presentation there as well. I had a couple workshops, but the next big stopping place for me next week is Disney World. We're down to the Disney Contemporary Hotel for the Money Show, which is run by the same group that put together the Traders Expo. Got me on the East Coast here for a couple of weeks, so staying in the same place. Now heading down toward Florida. If you're in the Orlando area or somewhere that you want to get to the Orlando area, reasonably close by, the date for the Money Show is March 2nd through 5th. And I do have a couple workshops and an exhibit booth there as well, as I've had here in New York, so you can learn a little bit more about my volume reversal indicator, my theories about the market, and we can meet. And if you come to our booth, I have a book, and obviously I can sign an autograph one for you if you're interested in learning more about technical analysis and what I do. Have an interesting show again, of course, with Harry Boxer on segment 4, and my good friend Sinclair No will be here on segments 2 and 3. We're going to cover a lot of the interesting news this past week, and certainly there was a lot, and particularly on the political front. So we're not going to get into the political comments, but I think those of you who read my newsletter know where I'm headed there, looking for big change in this country. The stock market itself had a big washout, as you know, last August, and we had a bit of a bear bounce off that level, and then we've come down to new lows with the S&P getting down about 1,800, and that occurred in late January, specifically January 20th, and then we've taken off again on another, what I still think is a bear bounce. Despite the current rally, I remain of the view that the Dow Industrials could still go lower here. Of course, I'm flexible as an analyst, but doesn't mean it won't go higher later. If you look at the course of the equity markets through the course of the last 100 years, they tend to go higher. So if you're willing to withstand the 10 to 50% corrections along the way, which do occur, and hopefully you're not in the companies that go bankrupt along the way, you're a survivor. And that will probably happen again. We have a very interesting situation in the world right now. Don't need to overemphasize it, but we're going to touch on it again. We talk about this with Sinclair. We have negative interest rates in Europe, Sweden, Germany, Japan, and there's talk of possible negative interest rates in the United States. So even though on the top of the hour we heard the news commentator quote Warren Buffett that things are going along real well. Well, that may be true if you're holding stocks and you're Warren Buffett, but the real world employment situation is not that great. In fact, the numbers are vastly distorted from reality, from what you hear in the financial press or read in the newspapers. We have what is known as financial engineering on Wall Street. If you keep interest rates at 0%, you force money into equities, companies buying back their shares, diminishing the float of shares out there, so the earnings per share is artificially manipulated higher than where it would normally be, so that drives stock prices higher. So the intent has been to get the stock market up, and I guess the weight of what's been happening in the world here, and we are in a recession. The world is in a recession despite anything else you might hear, and the question is the U.S. going to go into a recession? And I believe it is going into, or may already be in a recession. Doesn't mean certain industries don't do well and people don't make money, but in terms of the general perspective, that's sort of where we're at. And in that regard, we have problems here with the equity market as earnings of companies, are not what everybody thought they would be. And we have a strong U.S. dollar, which is hurting international companies that earn overseas profits, and those are compromised when the dollar is strong. A weak dollar is actually very good for the stock market. We hear about, we want a strong dollar, but the truth is a weak dollar is good for financial companies. And this is why there's a currency war going on around the world. Why are countries like Japan devaluing their currency, or China devaluing the currency? Because that creates cheap goods in that country, and it becomes more attractive for others to buy from other nations. So each country keeps devaluing against each other. Dollar stays strong, so we don't gain that benefit. But a devaluation could come here in the United States, so we're not immune. And this is something you've got to be aware of. It's happened in other countries. We saw Cyprus confiscate assets 3 years ago. Big devaluations in Mexico and Argentina and other places over the years. The British pound, which was the king currency of the world 100 years ago, was a fraction of where it was. And the dollar could be the same. In fact, the dollar is down considerably ever since the Federal Reserve was created over 100 years ago. I believe I read some statistics that we've lost about 95% of the value of the Dow in the dollar in the last 100 years because of the Federal Reserve and because of the way we've been printing money and the way we've conducted our business worldwide. So not a lot of positive things out there, but it doesn't mean, the Federal Reserve won't step in, whether it's in 6 months or next year with a QE4, start buying bonds. And then the other question, and of course that would drive stocks up too, as it did for the other QE programs. And then with the negative interest rates, if they come here, what does that mean? Well, if you've got to pay money to keep your money in the bank, you got to pay a fee. Maybe you won't keep your money in the bank. And if you got to pay the bank interest, perhaps that a certain portion of that money, people are going to store cash. Are they going to buy gold, silver? Are they going to buy property? Are they going to buy stocks? Maybe some will buy stocks that pay dividends, and that would drive prices higher in the stock market. So sort of perverse how all this is going to play out. And of course we have the political situation here, which is really wild going on, and big change is coming in one form or another. You can't believe anything any of the candidates say, though I do have my prejudices, but I think we do need a big change in this country. And if the Republicans do get in and we do build a wall, that's going to create a lot of business down on the southern border there in terms of jobs and so forth. So that'll be an interesting situation as well. Again, I'm still cautious. I think you got to be careful here with the markets. I think rates are not going higher. I think bonds and gold are still okay this year. And with all that said, we're going to talk to Sinclair No here in just a moment. So stay tuned, and thanks for joining us here on Wall Street Raw.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Attention citizens. This man has received national attention for accurately predicting every major financial trend, including the market crash of 2008. His name is Harry Dent. And in his newly released book, he is making even bigger and bolder predictions that have the potential to devastate the world economy and your personal wealth. You can get a free copy of Harry Dent's bestseller, The Demographic Cliff, containing never-before-published information by simply visiting www.harrydentresearch.com. Again, that's www.harrydentresearch.com.
Hey, I rode the elevator with you, but I don't work on the upper floors. I just want to squeeze in there right next to you, so the RFID scanner in my pocket can capture all your personal information, your debit and credit cards, even your work ID badge. So your identity is now my identity. Going up, so am I.
For over 10 years, ID Stronghold has pioneered RFID blocking wallets and ID badge holders for consumers, the U.S. military, and even the Executive Office of the President. Shouldn't you be protected too? ID Stronghold wallets cost about the same as wallets in most stores, but give you extra protection.
I'm Wall Augustinowitz, founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. Don't be a victim of electronic pickpocketing. Protect yourself from crimes you can't see with ID Stronghold wallets, card sleeves, and purses.
Visit IDStronghold.com and get the original RFID blocking wallets and badge holders. IDStronghold.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937. Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcoming back my good friend Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of the blog EatTheBankers.com on this Saturday morning. Sinclair, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a volatile week in the markets, and seems like the bulls had a little bit of an upper hand. But what worries Wall Street types, according to your blog, a hedge fund called Two Sigmas have surveyed Wall Street analysts, and here's what has them losing sleep: a market liquidity event, or a rapid down draw with losses of more than 20% in one or more assets as market participants try to liquidate positions simultaneously. Maybe a hard landing for China with GDP dipping below 3%, sustained global deflation, which would be the big three economies experiencing consecutive CPA readings below zero, emerging market sovereign debt crisis with one or more emerging markets defaulting on public debt leading to the risk of contagion, and to cap it off, U.S. corporate liquidity crisis. Well, Sinclair, what do you think?
I think those are all big risk, and any one of them could come about at almost any time this year. It almost has the feeling that we're standing on the edge of a cliff here. Doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to go over, but if we do, there's a big drop there, it would seem. And you look at what we have seen from some of the major economies. China, looking very rough. They're throwing a lot of money at China right now. The People's Bank of China just had a shake-up, and I believe it was Thursday, a 6% drop in a single day for the Shanghai Exchange, down 22% so far this year. We're 2 months in, 22% in 2 months. They're trying to shake it up. Of course, there's the G20 meeting this weekend. G20 is looking at all this and saying, well, not much that we can do with monetary policy anymore. It doesn't seem to be working. So you've got the problem with China. That then leads over to the commodity markets. That leads us to sustained global deflation. We see that with the inflation readings that we've been getting from almost everywhere. 0% inflation in Japan, pretty much zero or below zero for the major economies. And then that brings up some big questions about emerging market debt. We saw that again this week. Brazil downgraded by Moody's to junk status. At some point you have to think that whether it's out of the oil patch or the emerging markets, we're going to end up with some sort of a credit liquidity problem. Doesn't necessarily mean that it will be like 2008, although that's one possibility. But you just have this feeling that you're staring over the edge of the cliff.
And even Citicorp says the chances of a global recession are relatively high. And you just mentioned a moment ago with the G20 meeting coming up, the U.S. seems to be putting the burden on the other companies to boost their fiscal policies to boost global demand, as if we're blaming it all on them.
Yeah. I'm not sure who's really where we should place the blame. There are a lot of places where it could go around. But, Citi came out with a fairly devastating report the other day saying this looks bad, looks real bad. And I don't know that that's a big shocker. Everybody has been lowering their forecast. Citi was a little bit more upfront about it, though, I think.
You know, we have this big decline in the markets. The technical indicators said we may have entered a bear market, and then we get this quote-unquote dead cat bounce, which is now underway, and we'll find out if we're wrong on that, and it's really a turn. But I guess the contrary view is when things look the bleakest, markets tend to turn. So I guess we got to keep an open mind because the news is certainly almost universally bad out there.
Well, that then gets to be the real question if you're trading these markets, doesn't it? I mean, you have Citigroup saying, unusually weak global growth. deterioration in the global outlook, that there could be a global recession. The markets have taken a fairly good hit for the beginning of the year. Is that the time that you jump in? In the past few years, buying the dips has been a pretty successful trading strategy, and that works until it doesn't, until we actually turn around and the bull market starts to give way to an actual bear. At that point, buying the dips is just, catching a falling knife or a falling refrigerator.
Right. And now we're waiting for the mid-March FOMC meeting to see what comes of that. And we can spend a little time on that if you like as well. I mean, the Federal Reserve is coming out again with the jawboning in both directions. We've got James Bullard reiterating this past week that the pressure has come off the central bank. And basically they're claiming it's, I think Stanley Fischer said it's too early to assess the implications of recent volatility. So suddenly the interest rate raise that we've been hearing about may not be happening so quickly.
Yeah. At the same time, there's a thought that maybe they'll go ahead and do it in mid-March and just kind of get it out of the way and say, well, we're not going to play this game between the markets and the Fed. We're going to tell you what we're going to do, and we're going to do it. And you're going to live with it. There was a thought, I think it came from Esther George, Kansas City Fed president. She's like, man, it may not be such a bad idea to just surprise the markets.
Well, the markets don't want any more of that. Sinclair, we ran out of time on this segment. Can you stay with us for another segment?
Oh, sure, I'd love to. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we're talking to Sinclair No, editor, publisher of EatTheBankers.com, a great blog, and financial commentator, KFNN Phoenix 1510. And we'll take a bit of a break, and we'll be back with Sinclair right after. Yeah, thank you, Sinclair, for staying with us here. And we were running into a commercial break in a few seconds. But the bottom line is we have a lot of cross currents out there in the markets, and we have a lot of jawboning going on from the part of the Fed officials. And it seems like when things get hairy, suddenly we start hearing positive comments coming out from the team there in Washington. The truth is the raising of interest rates is irrelevant because it's such a small increase anyway, but it's also a non sequitur when you think about the negative rates that are going on in the world. And we talked about this in our previous broadcast. You may recall, I mean, there was a bulletin that had come out from the Federal Reserve sort of cautioning the banks that what if negative interest rates did hit here in the U.S., they should get prepared for that kind of scenario. So definitely a warning sign, folks. Stay tuned. So Sinclair will be back with us here in just a few seconds, and thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Leibovit, and you're listening to Wall Street Raw.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Welcoming back my good friend Sinclair No, financial commentator, KFNN Phoenix 1510, and author of the blog EatTheBankers.com. Sinclair, on the previous segment, we were talking about what the Fed may or may not do here coming up, and sounds like they can go either way. They really may not be pressured by the markets and decide to follow their game plan.
Well, I actually think that Yellen is a bit more cautious than some of the other FOMC policymakers. I don't think she's going to surprise the markets. If she is going to oversee another rate increase this year, she'll telegraph it. That's why I'm not thinking that we'll see one in March, but it could happen. I think we'll probably see another one before the end of the year. At least that's the intention at this point. And the markets are looking at it and saying, about a 50-50 chance we'll see one more rate increase this year. But with the Fed, it's just kind of a wait and see. I think, and this is something that came out of the G20 meetings from this weekend over in Shanghai, there seems to be a growing consensus that central bank policy, that monetary policy just isn't getting the job done the way perhaps it did in the past. Or maybe it never really did. Maybe it just made things worse the whole time. But they seem to be coming around to this idea, well, this isn't it. We need to try something else. It's not monetary policy. It's not just adding stimulus. How about maybe some fiscal policy instead? Kind of a change of opinion, really, among the global central bankers.
We just love those guys, don't we?
Well, they finally realize it doesn't work.
Right.
What took them so long?
Right. But I think they're going to still do the same things over and over again. So I don't know if they're going to change their policies so dramatically. I think all they know how to do, well, we know that, just print more money. So we'll find out.
They're not going to see anything on the fiscal side. They're not going to see governments actually spending money. So then they're going to be with their back against the wall, and they're going to fall back to their old tricks. That would be my guess.
Moving on to another big story this past week, still going on with regard to Apple Computer, Tim Cook, and the FBI. It's just taking a lot of press time here, and basically Tim, as you know, is saying he thinks the safety of the public is incredibly important, and the protection of people's data is incredibly important, and we have a lot of things to talk about here, the confidentiality of our data versus our personal freedoms.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is a big win for the attorneys who are going to be arguing the case. I'm not sure if it's a big win for everybody else. First of all, they don't even know if there's anything on that phone that they want to unlock. There may be absolutely nothing there. So big issue about what might be actually nothing. Next, there's this whole question of if we give up our liberties, are we really better off by doing that? On the Apple side of the equation, you got to wonder if part of this is not just a corporate image thing that they're trying to pull, a PR stunt to some extent. But there are some constitutional issues here. And if you step aside from that whole argument that's going on in the courts right now, one of the questions I keep wondering is, what in the world is going on with the FBI and all these other people that they can't even hack into a simple iPhone?
Right. Where's their technology?
Yeah. I mean, they're supposed to be conducting cyber warfare with Russia and China and ISIS and all these others, and they can't unlock a simple iPhone? Come on.
Boy, we're in trouble, huh?
I think so. If that's the best thing to come up with, that they got to force Apple to do it, I'm, ready to move back to a cave at this point because, they're not going to get the job done. They're going to make a big mess of anything to do with cybersecurity.
Well, the sense I have in terms of public sentiment is they seem to be leaning more on the side of Apple here, protect our phones, so it'll be interesting how all this plays out. Speaking of other stories this week, there's been a lot of discussion, and particularly in your blog, about the Center for Budget and Policy telling us that we really have to spend more money on infrastructure in this country, and we know how dilapidated our bridge and roads are and so forth. And, when I traveled to China a couple times in the last 10, 15 years, you just see everything new and beautiful over there, and you don't wonder why suddenly China's doing so great versus the U.S. What do you think?
Well, China probably went a little bit overboard. They built things that they don't necessarily even need because they just wanted to keep people busy with building no matter what. And you can do that, and you can get 7% GDP, but at a certain point that comes back to roost. It certainly appears to be that way over in China right now. But you look around the United States, and my goodness, yeah, we need some infrastructure spending. We've known that for a long time. The American Society of Civil Engineers a couple of years ago said, look, you're going to need to spend about $3.5 trillion for roads and bridges and the power grid and water projects and airports and all these things like that. and we just haven't been spending it. Now would be a great time to spend, and again, that might be some way to take some of the pressure off of the central bankers and monetary stimulus plans that don't seem to be doing very much right now. I don't see that it's going to happen, but it would make a lot of sense. Think about it. You can borrow money for projects like that for almost nothing now.
Right. There has been very little fiscal policy in recent years. It's all the burden, as you say, has been on the Fed all along. So it's about time.
And if you think that the water in Flint, Michigan is bad, believe me, that's not the only city in the country.
Right. So this is an important area, and I know there's been a lot of political discussion about spending money we don't have, but we know the Fed's been printing money, so it's out there somewhere, Sinclair. They'll find it.
Well, maybe we could spend a little of the money that we spent over in Iraq and spend it in Iowa instead.
Absolutely. Sinclair, it's such a pleasure having you on the show, and obviously we could spend an hour going over all the hot stories, but thank you so much for being with us. Sinclair No, financial commentator, 1510 Phoenix, and author of the blog, eatthebankers.com, and have a great week, Sinclair. We'll talk to you next Saturday.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you again, Sinclair. And coming up in our next segment, old friend Harry Boxer will be joining us. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, we made contact at the Traders Expo in New York, and that was a great event. And as a reminder, again, if you're in Florida or in the Orlando area, the Money Show is coming up March 2nd through 5th at the Disney Contemporary Resort, and I will be there. This is why I'm on the road here. I'm on the East Coast, actually broadcasting from New York, and staying on the East Coast and heading down to Orlando. And I will have 2 workshops there and be signing my book, and also hosting a booth, an exhibit booth. So, you come by and visit and get to know one another. So it should be a lot of fun. So we're going to be doing that, and we're going to be talking to Harry in just a moment. And just as a reminder, if you want more information on what I do, you can go to vrtrader.com. That's www.vrtrader.com for more information on my newsletters and services, and we'll be happy to handle that for you once you contact us. Well, stay tuned. We'll be back with you in just a moment. This is Mark Leibovit, and you're listening to Wall Street Raw.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help. So it has the tool tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota. Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
It's a great pleasure inviting a special guest, good friend, Harry Boxer, with us on the Saturday morning on Wall Street Raw. Harry is the founder of the TechTrader.com, a live trading room featuring his trade alerts and technical market analysis. He's a 45-year veteran technical analyst and stock picker, and he's author of the book Profitable Day and Swing Trading, named by Stock Traders Almanac as the 2015 Best Investment Book of the Year. Harry's a popular speaker at financial forums and conferences in the U.S. and internationally. In fact, Harry and I saw each other at the Traders Expo in New York this past week, and he has done other shows like the World Money Show and so forth, but he's been a columnist on TheStreet.com and Forbes. He's a featured guest on Yahoo Finance's breakout program, and the list goes on and on. Harry, thank you for joining us for a few minutes here on a Saturday morning on Wall Street Raw.
My pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about the Tech Trader and how our listeners can avail themselves of your services, and a little bit about what you're thinking now.
Well, the Tech Trader is a site that we've been around since 2001. I've been doing this for over 50 years, actually. And but in terms of having a site, we developed a site that with some very bright people that basically affords you to be in a room with some very accomplished traders, more than 250 to 300 a day, people with great ideas, people that are mentors, people that like posting their ideas, and so there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of camaraderie in the site. People have been here a long time. It's a great place to be. You can access that site for free for a week and just sign up at TechTrader.com and get full access to the entire site, including my daily intraday webinars, my nightly charts of the day, and my weekend webinars that consist of about 90 minutes on Saturday morning going over all the long, short, and indices and technical indicators. And that service is available to you without a credit card, so feel free to sign up and check it out.
Again, so that's www.thetechtrader.com to avail yourself of free access for trial on Harry's service. Harry, before off air, we were talking a little bit about the markets. We had a big washout here into February, and as we did last August, into that low, and a lot of bearish sentiment out there. Now we're coming out of it. So, what are your thoughts? Has the bear market ended, or is this just as they say, a dead cat bounce?
Well, I think it's more than a dead cat bounce, but I can't say the bear market's ended. As a matter of fact, technically, if you look at the overall structure, it's just wave 1 and wave 2. But the wave 2 is so strong that it indicates to me something more is at play here. And a couple of weeks ago, when we were at the lows and everybody was so bearish, and we had the American Association of Individual Investors show a 73% bearish sentiment, which is the worst reading or the highest reading in bearish sentiment since 2009. That's a 7-year high. And then talking to many of my institutional clients, hedge funds, they're all looking to sell the rallies. They're all very bearish. They think the market's going to get killed. And I think, and even Tom DeMark, who I highly respect, thinks that this is a 5 to 8 day rally and down we go. So I'm looking the other way. I'm being a contrarian here. Now, I'm not saying it's over, and we may very well get a pullback. But this last rally has shown a lot of V bottoms, a lot of nice base patterns, a lot of high volume breakouts. And you don't see that normally in bear markets. What you see is retraces to resistance on low volume, and then you go lower. So I'm thinking that what I'm seeing is not telling me we're going lower, but in the back of my mind, I'm still prepared for that.
Yeah, and the news environment is certainly a negative. A lot of talk about, of course, there is world recession going on, but the question whether it's going to spread into the U.S. But we have that big FOMC meeting coming up mid-March. A lot of expectation whether Yellen's going to raise rates or not raise rates, or whether that has any impact on the technicals is to be seen, right?
Yeah, I think there's zero chance of an interest rate raise. I'd be shocked. I think Wall Street would be too. They're expecting nothing till March at the earliest, maybe June. And basically, look at the numbers, the economic numbers in the last week or two. Housing, you can go on and on. It's really a hard show, and I completely blame this administration. They're showing unemployment at 5%. That is such a bogus number. It's unbelievable. So many people out of the workforce. To include them, unemployment is close to 10, 11%.
I've been talking about that for a long time in my newsletter and on the air, but the conventional press doesn't want to. They don't want to challenge the numbers. So the quote unquote fourth estate doesn't do their job out there. But
mainstream media is total BS, and we all know that. And that's the reason why you got people like the Republicans. 2 out of the top 3 in the race, including Trump, are non-traditional, not Washington insiders, and people want to stick with the government, to stick with the people in the government. They're not doing their job. Even the Republicans, I'm not going to get into political discussion, but even the Republicans, with a dominant House and Senate, are backed up that new budget that Obama had. It added $2 trillion of debt. I think it's totally horrendous, and that deal they did with Iran is a joke too. So nobody has confidence in the government. Really, not really, except Democrats who are getting entitlements. Most of those people vote Democratic simply because they're getting free gifts.
Harry, we only have a few seconds left. If you're comfortable, can you give our listeners some stock or some idea that they might want to follow here that you feel good about?
Yeah, I do. There's several stocks I like, but some of my swing trades, and I'll give you a short list quickly. I like a biotech company called XON. It's in Trexon. XON and Juno. Both of these 2 stocks appear to me to have substantial upside if we get any kind of market rally, as much as 50 to 100% in the next few months. I also like a company called ANFI. That's Amira Natural Foods, ANFI, great chart. I like SWFT in the transportation group, really nice chart. I like NPTN. I just put it out. Neo Photonics, a semiconductor stock, with a good chart. And I like MaxL, MXL, also in that semiconductor electronics group. All 5 of those charts look intriguing to me.
Harry, thanks so much. We did run out of time. We're talking to Harry Boxer from the Technical Trader. If you want more information, go to www.thetechtrader.com. Harry, hope to see you real soon, and hopefully I'll catch you on my next trip to L.A., and thanks for being a guest.
Awesome, and call me anytime you need me for some comments. I would love to talk with you again.
Absolutely. We will do that. Thank you for being with us.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you again, Harry. And always a lot of opinions out there. And speaking about the political world, I'm not going to get into the biases that I have here, but if you're interested in some stocks that will benefit if the Republicans get in, and particularly Donald Trump, I would encourage you to go to my website, vrtrader.com. That's vrtrader.com. You can also access that through WallStreetRaw.com as well. So we're trying to anticipate, and I think some stocks are anticipating certain political events here and outcomes that may result. So I would go to the website to check the couple names that we have, few names that we have put up there targeting that. In the minute or so we have left here, again, I'm attending the Money Show in Orlando coming up next week, March 2nd through 5th. So again, if you're in the Orlando area, please stop by. If you have any particular questions you'd like to ask me, I do have an email address, as we all do, and I'm happy to answer those. It is mark.vrtrader. That's mark.vrtrader@gmail.com. So if you have some particular questions, things you've heard on the show, or comments, certainly don't hesitate to email me. Again, that email address is mark.vrtrader.com. I wanted to, of course, thank our guests for being with us today. Sinclair No is always gracious being with us on the show, covering the Eat the Banker's blog, among other things. And, of course, having Harry Boxer with us today was a real thrill. We didn't go over the active stocks today for the week, but we'll try to cover those. We do cover those in our newsletter, so if you go to our website, you can certainly check those out at your leisure. Markets still overall cautious, as I mentioned at the top of the hour. A little bit more of a rally, perhaps, but I don't think we're out of the woods. I think the bond market still looks okay, but you got to buy it here on a pullback. And as I mentioned, the gold market, I think, is still a place to be, particularly on a pullback here. So the climate has changed a little bit, folks. So, and as my old friend Ed Hart used to say on the Financial News Network, and we say this every week at the close, we will know in the fullness of time. Thanks for joining us on Wall Street Raw. I'm Mark Leibovit.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that it's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.